Jesse Homestead. How the heck are you? Uh, yeah, oh man, I'll tell you what, it's been a crazy week. Um, Talk to you a little bit about the trip out west. I really had a ball. It was nice to see some old friends and run back through the Vegas area for a bit. Nothing's changed. The crowds are a little less, but yeah, it was a lot of fun and met some really cool people and had a good time out there. I had to say I was quite impressed with some of the organizational skills and so forth of the militias. It wasn't really a convention kind of thing, but it was informational sharing. So hopefully it's never needed. Hopefully it's never needed. But once a year they get together and start looking at who's doing what, where, when, how, advanced plannings, things of this nature. So I'm really, hoping that everything goes well. This mail-in voting thing they got going has folks concerned. Basically because, and the media gets a lot of folks confused on this. Mail-in balloting, okay, the bulk mail-in balloting and the absentee ballots are two entirely different things. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. If you're in a state, say Tennessee, you want to get an absentee ballot, and this is most states. You get a hold of the Board of Elections, and the same people you send your voter registration and stuff to, and you tell them you want to vote absentee ballot. You want an absentee ballot sent to you. Well, the first thing they're going to do is verify all your information. Okay? You're going to have to kind of show that you are you. Any questions not answered correctly is going to have you brought into you'll have to go in then and bring an ID to get your absentee ballot. Okay? But if you can answer all the questions correctly, and they want to verify that your address is still your address and you're still in your district and yada, 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 then once you do that, they have a barcode on that absentee ballot that they scan that basically tells the poll workers you had an absentee ballot in your possession. So that if you show up at the polls later on, they can go, what happened to your absentee ballot? Then if you've decided, I decided not to vote absentee, I'm here to vote at the polls. Then they're going to go fine, but they're going to go back into the system and they're automatically going to flag that absentee ballot because it's got a barcode on it where they can do that. That poll worker can now flag that ballot to where it cannot be counted. Yeah. Or if it shows that it's been used for voted, now you got a problem. They'll probably let you vote by proxy and set it off to the side until they get that physical ballot in their hand and see if you signed it, and, or if somebody tried to commit fraud, got a hold of it. It's a more secured way to vote because they have control over it. Voter registration polls. If you'll think about this for 30 seconds, do you really think that your local election board keeps on top of everybody that moves out of your area, died in a nursing home, may have come down with dementia, okay, and they don't even know what country they're in, much less who's running for office, okay, things like that? They don't keep track on that. They try to go through their registrations, but it's for the most part, most voter registration listings are pretty hosed up in most states. I've lived in numerous states where they've been trying to clean them up, and it just turns into such a massive job that they never get done with it. And then, because by the time they complete one little phase of it, there's been more people moving, more people going to nursing homes, more people dying, yada yada. It's an ongoing process. That is the reason why bulk mail-in voting does not work, and why you're having not in the mainstream media, but more of the independent news media and so forth, a lot of people calling in going, hey, I got 7-8 ballots here at my house. Now, these are not secured votes. Folks, somebody can go up there in Minnesota where they found the Somali population up there that are selling their ballots. Yeah, Isn't that nice? Whew, they ought to cancel their citizenship if they catch them doing that, but they won't. Uh, you're back in Somalia. Get out of here. But that's what's going on right now. At Veritas has videotapes of it. Yeah, it's pretty widespread. With these mail-in votes, that sort of stuff is very easy to do. With an absentee ballot, they're going to compare that signature closely, okay? Because it is, like I said, a more verified ballot. Now I hear states like New Jersey, they're only having one polling place open in the state capital. The poll workers can't even verify signatures. I'd be in court right now trying to get the Supreme Court to say the state of New Jersey's votes don't count this term unless they're placed at a ballot, you know, at a polling place. And with only one polling place open in the state, New Jersey, you need a change of leadership. All right, that's what Donald Trump is talking about. The very things that he's been warning about. And folks, they do this all the time. Oh, there's no such thing as voter fraud. Yeah, well, half of Chicago's graveyards vote every year, every time there's an election. In 2016, up in Detroit, the governor threw out 2 whole districts' votes because it was that corrupted with fraudulent votes. That was news in 2016. Now here we are in 2020, and it's almost like, oh, that never happened. We won't talk about that. I did the, and believe me, just go out there and, type in to a Google search, or even YouTube, U.S. Postal Service dumping mail. You're going to find a list of videos that go back years and years and years and years and years up to current date. It's an ongoing problem, primarily because even though it is a felony for a letter carrier to do that, they don't prosecute them. And by not prosecuting them, the worst that can happen if they get caught is fired. So there's no real incentive for a lazy employee, and I'm going to put it to that. I'm going to put it off to being crooked and trying to tamper with our election. I'm just going to put it off as lazy. If they start throwing mail away because they're wanting to get off at whatever their normal get off time is and not have to work late because they're running behind because of all the extra mail, and want to get lazy and dump it all into, I won't say a river because my word did Donald Trump get into that one, but a ditch, dumpster, in the woods, alongside a road, bag it up and put it in your shed in your house. All those things have happened. Go out and take a look. Yeah, lots of it. And Democrats are trying to tell us, oh no, it's perfectly okay. Here's what the Democrats are trying to do. They know that a lot of their base are, number one, not really excited about who they're running. So there's not a lot of motivation there. There's a lot of, orange man bad sentiment, but yeah, it's not enough to motivate some of them folks. And they need a big turnout if they hope to win. Huge turnout. How much better? They were trying to get the whole country to go along with this. Of everybody do these bulk mail-ins. So they'd have this massive flood of ballots. Hopefully get their guy elected. I know that all the polls say that, Biden's winning. So let's just leave it. Biden's winning. Just if you are a conservative, show up to the poll and vote. Okay? Understand that those polls can be manipulated by the media. So don't pay a lot of attention to them. Didn't do them a lot of good in 2016, did they? How did we get it so wrong? Exactly. I know when they call me, I don't, it's none of their business how I'm going to vote. That's the way I look at it. It's none of their business. So I don't tell them. And I know a bunch of my friends don't do that. Just tell them, nope, not voting. Click. Well, it helps the political system. No, it doesn't. It actually affects the political system. Because if you think you guys are way out in the lead, you won't show up to vote. Then guess what happens? Yeah. Okay? So, be advised, ignore the polls. pretty much ignore the polls. If you want communist-run country, and that is exactly what these people are, communists. If you want Antifa and Black Lives Matter running the streets of your town, if you want to see your police departments defunded, well, then go for it. Or like in towns where they like to throw you in jail if you don't do exactly what the governor told you to do. Last check, we're all Americans. We got some rights. And these blue states, if you guys had, if Democrats in these states, here's an American test. Some governor tell me that I couldn't attend church, even though we're social distancing, wearing masks, got hand sanitizers. Okay, I can't go worship God, but you can have thousands out here in the streets protesting. That'd be his last term in office. I'd kick his butt to the curb. I'd even try to get him recalled. That's what Americans do. We're Americans. We have fought all over this world to maintain our freedom. You think these little soy boy governors we got running around here, and these clowns like out of New York City and so forth, Cuomo, telling he's rounding up the Jews. What? Said he was going to shut down all the synagogues. It's time for a change, folks. And a lot of this nonsense, all of this nonsense coming out of blue states. You people need to stand up and act like Americans. Okay? Pretty soon, you're going to be like the people in Wuhan, and governors will be boarding you up in your house. Don't cry to us when that happens. We don't allow it here. You shouldn't be allowing it there. Use your head. Understand. When it comes to politicians, you give them an inch, they think they're your ruler. It's time to take the ruler out of their hand and smack them upside the head with it and say, I'm an American. You're not telling me how I'm going to live. Put them to the curb. First time a mayor tells me, oh no, I'm not going to let the police mess with the protesters. Oh no, it makes them mad. That'd be when I tell the police, you use everything in your arsenal, but you stop it. They hit you in the head with a bottle, hit them in the head with a nightstick. You get cops out there beating the bejeebies out of them every night. They're going to stay home. Use our heads. Grow up. Act like Americans. Knock this crap off. This mail-in voting, folks. If there turns into being a big problem in this country, that's what's going to come from. Because most people don't trust it. And there's a reason not to trust it. It doesn't work. Get to the polls. Don't care what party you're with. Get to the poll and vote. And if you have a dozen of those things hit your door, I'd call the Postal Service and say, I'm burning these because I want to make sure they don't get in anybody's hands. Yeah, they had some postal workers selling ballots. It's time to bring it to a close, folks. Let's clean up this election process while we still can. Because y'all aren't going to like what's going to happen if America feels like they've been jacked around by the Democrats on this. So let's use our heads. This mail-in voting needs to stop. Governor in New Jersey, you need to open up your polls. Somebody ought to put that clown on trial. Anyway, sorry I wandered off here. Probably have to edit some of this out. Didn't plan on this one being that way. You all have a great week and have a wonderful weekend. Get out to the polls and vote. If you got early voting in your state, utilize it. Let's do it the old-fashioned way and make sure it's right. But there's a big difference between this bulk mailing they're doing in these blue states and this absentee ballots, which we've used for years. Why we're not using them now? Just don't know why you wouldn't use them now. The system's there, and it's secure. Wonder why the Democrats don't want to use that secured system that's already in place. Yeah? Ask yourself that. The rest of the country sure is. Wake up, America. You could get nuts. Let's try to mind our P's and Q's. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you later.